playing the part of excellence. We are thankful to all others. Thank you all. Now let us say something about defense care too. I am sorry. I am very much sorry. Our sincere thanks to the learned defense lawyers, particularly the learned state defense lawyer, Mr. Amir Hussain. Many people will say many things, but he has done a lot. And he, in our view, in our estimation, to the best of his possibility, he played the exact role he was supposed to, and that we expected. Thanks to him again. And if anyone is left, sorry, that we do not by this time recollect. Our thanks to the Land Attorney General again for his kind presence. We are sorry for being late because many things are connected in the preparation of the judgment. As is a big matter. For the last couple of days, we could sleep very little and we had to work continuously for 10 to 12 hours every day. So, anyway, this is our job, but all of you are waiting. You have participated in many ways. Thanks to you all. Now let us discuss something about the judgment. I want to give you an idea of the judgment. The judgment comprises 453 pages. And it consists of 6 parts. The first part includes the index, description of the prosecutors, learned prosecutors and the learned defense counsels, introduction of the accused, origin and object of the tribunal, jurisdiction of the tribunal. Article 7 of the Rome Statute, which is the basis of trial of our tribunal. The elements of the crime against humanity. We are trying the offense that we are holding trial of the crime against humanity. So, elements of crime against humanity, these are enunciated by the Rome Statute and being followed and exercised by the International Criminal Court and other international tribunals. We are also following the Rome Statute as well as our law, and particularly the elements as enshrined therein. And the elements of superior common responsibility. In such cases, superior common responsibility is bulkily involved, and that's why we have to have regard to this aspect as well. And we have stated the standard of the tribunal. That is, we compare the standard of this tribunal with the standard of the other international tribunals as well as the International Criminal Court. And we have said about the trial procedure, part 2, pre-trial proceedings, part 3, prosecution story and defense case. We have stated about learned chief prosecutor submission on charge, learned state defense counsel's submission on charge, thereupon decision on charge, and then we have given the description of evidences in part 4. In part 4, we have also given an account of the testimonies of the prosecution witnesses. In part 5, we have given the illustration of the evidences, and that is the description of the evidences. Used arms and ammunition. We have given an account of the used arms and ammunition. We have given a description. We have discussed about about the telephonic conversations of accused hasinar with a number of persons from time to time. We have discussed and extracted the reports of daily newspapers concerning the issues of this case, reports of United Nations Human Rights Commission, reports of bichar, another Human Rights Commission, reports of Human Rights Watch, and Globe Institute, and so on. We have discussed about the videos of the offences which have been displayed in the document. And we have described the extent of cruelty administered upon the victims who have died and who have been seriously injured and lost their vital organs of the body. And we have talked about seized alamots. We have given account of the murders, number of murders, in accordance with the Gazette notifications published by our government and in accordance with the reports of United Nations Human Rights Commission and other organizations. In this context, I want to say that the exact report of murders or the victims or the sufferers or the injured persons or those whose whereabouts could not be traced, this is quite natural. You will understand that since our liberation war in 1971, still we could not finalize the list of murderers, the list of freedom fighters, list of the war criminals, and others. So there are lists, but it varies. So you say time is better, it may vary. Somewhere you find the figure 800, somewhere 1000, somewhere 1400. So substantial amount of the protesters have been killed. This is the fact. We have described the police messages and directions passed from the high-ups to the downwards for doing the needful to control the protesters, curfew orders. Then in part 6, we have described, we have given an account of the learned chief prosecutor's arguments, the points of arguments, the pertinent points of arguments have been described. We have also described the pertinent points of arguments raised by the learned State Defense Council. Thereafter, we have given an account of our observations and inference. And finally, we passed the order. So, this is all about the judgment. Now we will read out the very pertinent portions of the judgment, one by one. At first, our line member 2. He will read out a portion of the judgment, commencing from origin and object of the tribunal, jurisdiction of the tribunal, and you will read out Article 7 of Home Statute, elements of crime against humanity, elements of superior command status, responsibility, and then the charges. Thereafter, learned member 1, he will read out some questions from the discussion of the evidences, the report of the United Nations Human Rights Commission, and then the extent of cruelty administered upon the victims, and thereafter the points of arguments submitted by the prosecutor and the State Defense Council. And booklet you have been listening to deliberations. Thank you very much. Now, the turn of London number 2 is reading out, as I have mentioned.
Origin and objective of the tribunal. The International Crimes Tribunal has been established under the International Crimes Tribunal Act 1973 to provide for the detention, prosecution, and punishment of the persons for genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and other crimes under international law committed within or beyond the territory of Bangladesh, whether before or after commencement of the Act. Jurisdiction of the Tribunal. The Tribunal has got the jurisdiction to try the offences enshrined in Section 3 and 4 of the International Crimes Tribunal Act 1973. Section 3 provides, the Tribunal shall have the power to try and punish any individual or group or individuals, organization, or any member of any disciplinary force, auxiliary force, or intelligence agency who, irrespective of his nationality, commits or has committed within or beyond the territory of Bangladesh, whether before or after the commencement of this Act, any of the crimes mentioned in its subsection 2. According to subsection 2 of section 3, the following acts or any of them are these crimes within the jurisdiction of a tribunal for which there shall be individual responsibility. The Constitution of Bangladesh has given upper hand in Article 47, Subclause 3, thereof, to the application of the provisions of International Crimes Tribunals Act 1973 in the following manner. Notwithstanding anything contained in this Constitution, rule law, or any provision thereof, providing for detention, prosecution, or punishment of any persons who is a member of any armed or defense or auxiliary forces, or any individual group of individuals or organization, or who is a prisoner of war for genocide, crimes against humanity, or war crimes and other crimes and crimes under international law, shall be deemed void or unlawful, or ever to have become void or unlawful on the ground that such law or provisions of any such law is inconsistent with or repugnant to any of the provisions of the constitutions. Crime against humanity, death, murder, extermination, enslavement, deportation, imprisonment, abduction, confinement, torture, rape, sexual exploitation, enforced disappearance, human trafficking, sexual slavery, enforced prostitution, forced pregnancy, enforced sterilization or other inhuman acts when committed as part of a widespread or systematic attack direct against any civilian population with the knowledge of the attack or persecutions on political, racial, ethnic, or religious grounds, whether or not in violation of the domestic law of the country were perpetrated. Section 4 provides as follows. Any individual or groups of individuals or any member of any disciplinary force, auxiliary force, or intelligence agency who commit a crime within the jurisdiction of the tribunal shall be responsible and liable for punishment. Any commander, superior officer or leader who orders, permits, acquiesces, incites, or participates in the commission of any of the crimes specified in Section 3, or is connected with any plans or activities involving the commission of such crimes, or who fails or omits to discharge his duty to maintain a discipline or to control or supervise the actions of the person under his command or his subordinates, whereby such persons or subordinates or any of them commit any such crimes, or who fails to take necessary of such crimes. Now, crimes against humanity according to Roman statute. For the purpose of this statute, crime against humanity means any of the following acts when committed as part of a widespread or systematic attack directed against any civilian population with the knowledge of the attack, A. Murder and weighing the relevant ones. Murder, torture, other inhuman acts of a similar character intentionally causing great suffering or serious injury to body or to mental or physical health. The core offense in the instant case is the crime against humanity. Thus, we have to see what elements are required to constitute this crime. In view of Section 3 and 4 of the Act, there must be an attack. The attack must be widespread or systematic. C. The attack must be targeted a civilian population. D. The attack must be within the knowledge of the superior, or the superior should have known of the attack in order to hold him or her liable for the crime. The superior must have been in the control over the concerned subordinates. Elements of superior command responsibility. From the jurisprudence and imminent from the international crimes tribunals, it is generally agreed that four elements must be proven for a person to be held responsible as superior. The elements are: 1. An international crimes must have been perpetrated by someone other than the accused. 2. There existed a superior-subordinate relationship between the accused and the perpetrator. 3. The accused as a superior knew or had reason to know that the subordinate was about to commit such crimes or had done so. 4. The accused as a superior failed to take the necessary and reasonable measure to prevent such crimes or punish the perpetrator. Section 4, Subsection 2 of the International Crimes Tribunal Act provides that any commander of the bichar, officer who orders, permits, acquires, or participates in the commission of any of the crimes specified in Section 3, or is connected with any plans, activities involving the commission of such crimes, or who fails or omits to discharge his duty to maintain discipline or to control or supervise the actions of the persons under his command or his subordinates, whereby such persons or subordinates or any of them commit any such crime or who fails to take necessary measures prevent the commission of such crime is guilty of such crimes. Now, I'm going to read the charge. On the point of the jurisdiction of this tribunal, raised by the United States Defense Council, it may be noted that there is no scope in law to raise such question, since question of jurisdiction of the tribunal is under Section 24 of the International Crimes Tribunal Act. Regarding the allegations against the accused, he merely made flat denials thereto, without showing anything subsistence contrary to the acts complained of. On the other hand, on basis of the formal charges and the documents submitted therein, and also in consideration of submission of the United Chief Prosecutor and the United States Defense Council, it has been made to appear to us that there are sufficient grounds for framing charges against the accused under Section 3, Subsection 2, read with Section 4 of the Act. On hearing both sides, 5 charges were framed against accused Sheikh Hasinar individually, and several 5 charges were framed against accused Asadullah Khan Kamal and Chaudhry Abdullah Al-Mamun Chak. But on scrutiny of the documents and examination of the witnesses of the tribunal, deems to reject the charges for ends of justice And accordingly, the same charges framed earlier have been modified in the following manner. Charge number 1. Incitement and force to attack and kill protesting students of Dhaka University and other academic institutions of the country, and also failure to take preventive and punitive measures, and thus killing hundreds and severely injuring thousands of protesters during July uprising 2024. Commencing on 1st July 2024 and ending on 5th August 2024, accused Sheikh Hasina as the Prime Minister of Bangladesh and the President of the ruling party of Bangladesh, Awami League, as well as 40 party alliance in a press conference on 14/7/24 at Gorkhabon, made the following derogatory remark. মুক্তিযোদ্ধার নাতিপুতিরা চাকরি পাবে না তো কি রাজাকারের নাতিপুতিরা চাকরি পাবে? If the grandchildren of freedom fighters should not get jobs, should the grandchildren of Rajakars get it? Pointing towards the protesters of anti-discrimination student movement while demanding rational reform of quota system in government job, whereby the left favor and defend and aggrieved since rioters are considered as collaborators of occupied Pakistani army during Liberation War of 71. And thereafter, the term has been being used to stigmatize an individual or group of individuals as enemy of the state of the people. But in a telephonic conversation with A.S.M. Masood Kamal, the then Vice Chancellor of Dhaka University, Sheikh Hasina, mentioned that she ordered to hang the protesters as the Rajakars have been hanged before. Further, being incited and inspired by the same remark, Cabinet Minister and Awami League Secretary Abdul Qadir separately charged, made another provocative, aggressive remark on 15th July of 2024 at 12 noon, saying, আন্দোলন দমনে ছাত্রলীগই যথেষ্ট. ছাত্রলীগ is enough to bring the movement under control. And as such, the students, female and male, came down to the streets, chanting slogans against herself and her party of government. Meanwhile, as opponents, including the cabinet members, police, and other law enforcing agencies, activists of the four-party Awami League and its affiliated and allied organization come to incited and inspired of the efforts and demands of Bigu and Abdul Qadir, thus they launched widespread and systematic attack within your full knowledge upon the peaceful statement protesters in Dhaka University involving 297 students injured and many others in different educational institutions throughout the country, including Rampur Begum Rokia University, where Amsite was brutally shot dead by police. By your incitement and order to kill the protesting students who have been injured and killed as the first time. And also by failure to take preventive and punitive measure against the perpetrators, it accused Sheikh Hasina committed the crimes against humanity under Section 3, Subsection 2, under Section 4, Subsection 1, Clause B, and Section 4, Clause 3, Subsection 3, read with Section 28 of the International Crimes Tribunal Act 1973. Charge number 2. Order to use lethal weapon, guns, and helicopters to kill the protesters and execution of the order. During the July uprising 2024, accused Sheikh Hasina held a conversation over telephone with Dr. A.S.M. Masood Kamal, the then Vice Chancellor of Dhaka University from Gorkhabon on 4th July 2024 at about 11 p.m. Wherein she mentioned that she already ordered to kill the protesters like the Rajakars who have been hanged before. Again on July 18th, Sheikh Hasina conversed over telephone with Sheikh Fazlur Tahash Lieutenant Mayor Dhaka South City Corporation, mentioning that she had already given direction to the law enforcement agencies to use helicopter and lethal weapons to kill and eliminate a peaceful and armed civilian protesters, and also ordered them to use drones to locate the protesters. She also told him that she passed orders to arrest and torture the protesters across the country. As a result of above statement, directions the Home Minister Asad Kamal and the Inspector General of Police Chaudhry Abdullah Mahmood successfully implemented the directions through their journeys, that is law enforcing agencies, by deploying drones and helicopters in the sky, killing about 1,400 protesters, including women and children, indiscriminately and gravely injuring about 25,000 of them throughout the country by using lethal weapons everywhere from 16th July 2024 and helicopters somewhere from 18th July 2024 up to 5th August 2024, and thereby Sheikh Hasina, Asad Kamal and Chaudhry Abdullah Mahmood committed crimes against humanity as a joint criminal enterprise punishable under Section 3, Subsection 2, Clause AGH, Section 4, Clause B, C, Section 4, Subsection 3, raping Section 28 of the International Crimes Tribunal, Charge number 3. Killing 6 protesters at Chandrapur with lethal weapons. The protesters convened a program titled March to Dhaka to be held on 5th August and made a call to the people of all parts throughout the country to march to Dhaka on the scheduled day. People of all spheres began to assemble in Dhaka from every part of the country on August 5th. By incitement to order and inaction of Sheikh Hasina, by amendment and inaction of Home Minister Asad Kamal and Inspector General of Police Chaudhry Abdullah Mahmood, the successive underlings got incited and inspired to kill the protesting students and young people, and therefore under order, supervision and induction of accused Asad Kamal, Chaudhry Abdullah Mahmood, and then Dhaka Metropolitan Commissioner GMP Abdul Rahman, Joint Commissioner of Police Shudik Kumar Chakraborty, Additional Deputy Commissioner Shah Alam Muhammad Akhtar Islam, Assistant Commissioner Muhammad Imrul, and Inspector Muhammad Ashad Hussain, who have been separately prosecuted, successively ordered to commit atrocities to the protesters assembled at Chandrapur of Dhaka and supervised same, and during such atrocities, 6 unarmed protesters, namely Shakir Khan Anas, Sheikh Mahdi Hassan Shuaib alias Mustaqim, Muhammad Yaqub, Muhammad Rakib Hamadar, Muhammad Ismail Haq, and Malik Mia alias Sharif were shot dead by Constable Shudan Hussain, Constable Imaj Hussain, and Constable Asirul Islam, who have been separately prosecuted at Chandrapur as part of widespread and systematic attack. The aforesaid killings took place pursuant to the order of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, within her full knowledge, and also under successive order, supervision, and within the knowledge of Home Minister Asad Kamal and Inspector General of Police Chaudhry Abdullah Mahmood, and by such killings, they committed crimes against humanity as joint criminal enterprise by order, amendment, and inaction to prevent and punish the perpetrators under Section 3, Subsection 2, raping Section 4 of the International Crimes Tribunal Act 1973.
It transpires from the prosecution the cases deposed in corroboration of the fact of indictment and order against Sheikh Hasina deployed drones and helicopters, and also to use lethal weapons to finish the protesters. The daily newspapers of Bangladesh also published evidence of such incitement and order of Sheikh Hasina. Moreover, the prosecution executed Hasanul in the concept device containing the state conversations have been played in the tribunal, and thereupon we find that Hindi conversation with the Dhaka University Vice Chancellor ASM Masud Kamal accused Sheikh Hasina mentioned that she already ordered and the students as Radhakar at the camp. Now I am mentioning the substantial portion from this conversation from her conversation with ASM Masud Kamal, the accused Vice Chancellor of Dhaka University. Sheikh Hasina তো রাজাকারের তো ফাঁসি দিয়েছি, এবার তাদেরও তাই করব, একটাও ছাড়বো না, আমি বলে দিচ্ছি। শেখ হাসিনা, কোন দেশে বাস করি আমরা? ওদেরকে বাড়তে বাড়তে তো রাজাকারদের কি অবস্থা হয়েছে দেখিস নাই, সবগুলোকে ফাঁসি দিয়েছি, এবার তোদেরও ছাড়বো না। শেখ হাসিনা, সব এইগুলোকে দায় করে দিতে হবে, আমি বলে দিছি। আজকে সহ্য করার পরে অ্যারেস্ট করবে, ধরে নেবে এবং যা অ্যাকশন নেওয়ার নেবে, যা অ্যাকশন নেওয়ার নেবে। Then it also appears from the conversation with Dhaka South City Corporation Mayor President Taposh, accused Sheikh Hasina told him that she ordered to kill the protesting student by using helicopters and lethal weapons. The substantial portion of the conversation is Sheikh Hasina, দরকার নাই, ওটা দরকার নাই, আমি সেনাপ্রধানের সাথে কথা বলেছি, ওরা রেডি থাকবে, ঠিক আছে। এখন তো আমরা অন্য করতেছি, ড্রোন দিয়ে ছবি নিচ্ছি আর হেলিকপ্টারের হচ্ছে মানে কয়েক জায়গায়। তারপর তাহলে ওই কিছু ছবি দেখে পাকড়াও করা যায় না তাদের রাতের মধ্যে। শেখ হাসিনা সবগুলিকে অ্যারেস্ট করতে বলেছি রাত্রে, তারপর পাকড়াও করলে ওদেরকে। শেখ হাসিনা, না ওটা বলা হয়ে গেছে, ওটা নিয়ে র্যাব, ডিজিএফআই, এনএসআই সবাইকে বলা হয়েছে যে যেখান থেকে যে কয়টা পারবে পারবা ধরে রাখবে। তারপর শেখ হাসিনা, ওটা বলা আছে, আর এখানে গ্যাদারিং দেখবে সেখানে, আর যেখানে গ্যাদারিং দেখবে সেখানে উপর থেকে, এখন উপর থেকে করাচ্ছি, অলরেডি শুরু হয়েছে কয়েকটা জায়গায়। তারপর শেখ হাসিনা, আমার নির্দেশনা দেওয়া আছে, ওপেন নির্দেশনা দিয়ে দিছি, এখন লেথাল ওয়েপন ব্যবহার করবে, যেখানে পাবে সোজা গুলি করবে। তারপর শেখ হাসিনা, না পড়াইয়া দিছে, মেশিন পত্র সব পড়ে গেছে, আমি বলছি দাদা পড়াতে, ও আমাদের সেতু ভবন পড়াইছে। তারপর ওরা রাতে মনে হয় আরো ব্যাপক আক্রমণ করবে। In the conversation with the Hasanul accused Sheikh Hasina mention of bombing upon the protesters from the helicopter. The substantial portion, relevant portion from the conversation. Sheikh Hasina, না আমি বলছি ক্যাজুয়ালিটির দরকার নাই, ওরা ব্যারিকেড নিয়ে আছে তো ঠিক আছে, আকাশ থেকে নামবে, তখন দুই পাশ দিয়ে ধরবে, মেসেজটা দিয়ে দিতে পারে যে সেনা পাঠানো হচ্ছে আর হেলিকপ্টার দিয়ে সোজা বম্বিং করা হবে, র্যাবের হেলিকপ্টার দিয়ে উপর দিয়ে মারবে। আপনি এই জামাত শিবিরের বেদনতা আবার ভেঙে দেন ঢাকা শহরে। শেখ হাসিনা, একেবারে। শেখ হাসিনা, হ্যালো হ্যালো, আসসালামু আলাইকুম, আমি ইনু বলছিলাম। হ্যালো শেখ হাসিনা, হ্যাঁ বলেন। আচ্ছা, আমি এটা স্ক্রলে দিয়ে দিতে বলছি যে তোমরা সব ঘরে ফেরো, গার্ডিয়ানদেরকে বলছি এইখানে কিন্তু জঙ্গি হামলা হয়েছে। হ্যাঁ এটা রাইট। শেখ হাসিনা, না এটা আমাকে বেশ কিছু আন্তর্জাতিক পাইছি, তারা এটাকে জঙ্গি হামলা হিসেবে কনসিডার মানে বলতেছে। আসলে হ্যাঁ জঙ্গি হামলাই হয়েছে, এই কার্ডটা খেলবো আমরা এখন। শেখ হাসিনা, না কার্ড খেলা না, এটা আমি আগে করি নাই, কিন্তু আমাকে আন্তর্জাতিক সংস্থা থেকে মেসেজটা দিচ্ছে এটা জঙ্গি হামলা। আসলে জঙ্গি সন্ত্রাসের মোকাবিলা করছে এখন সরকার। শেখ হাসিনা, তারা আমাকে এটাই বলছে যে এটা জঙ্গি হামলা, দিয়ে দিব পেপার। investigation into July-August 2024 atrocities in Bangladesh and mentioned in its report that the following inhuman and unlawful acts were committed upon the protesters during the movement and reports as follows. Reported as follows. Based on direct testimony from senior officials involved and other inside sources, OHCHR was able to establish that the integrated and systematic approach using the entire range of police, paramilitary, military and intelligence actors, as well as violent elements linked in the Army League to commit serious violations and abuses occurred the full knowledge, coordination and direction of the political leadership. The then Prime Minister and Home Affairs Minister led parallel efforts to coordinate the security and intelligence apparatus. Both received regular reports of the situation on the ground from multiple sources. According to senior official testimony, reports provided to the Prime Minister by senior officers on 21 July and in early August specifically conveyed concern about excessive use of force. Both political leaders and the leadership of Bangladesh police and the army also carried out site visits that would have provided them direct personal knowledge of violations that had taken place or were ongoing. Furthermore, the political leadership issued direct orders and other directives authorizing and guiding operations by BGP, BGRI, in Bangladesh police and its direct executive branch that involved various violations of human rights against protesters and other civilians, including extrajudicial killing and arbitrary detention. Based on reported deaths complied by governmental and non-governmental sources in combination with other available evidence, OHCHR assesses that as many as 1,400 people have been killed during the protest. The vast majority of them were killed by military rifles and shotguns loaded with metal pellets commonly used by Bangladeshi security forces. Thousands more suffered severe, often life-altering injuries. More than 11,700 people were arrested and detained, according to information from the police and were provided to OHCHR. Government attempted to intimidate and delegitimate the student protest movement, mobilized of subtly police and paramilitary forces, militarized materialized of policing in Bangladesh, incited violence by armed Army League and activists on and around university premises, conducted coordinated attacks by armed Army League supporters and the police, use of force violations by police, RAB and BGP, including extrajudicial killing, like killing Abu Said of Begum University from 16 July, late systematic indiscriminate use of shotgun loaded with lethal ammunition, suppressed peaceful assembly at Dhaka University on 17 July. Police were extrajudicially killed protesters in Uttara on 18 July. Disproportionate and indiscriminate use of firearms in response to violent unrest, indiscriminately shooting in Rampura and Badda by BGP and police on July 19. Violently cleared the Dhaka Chattogram Highway in the Tabari on between 16 to 21 July. Extrajudicial killings to suppress the march to Dhaka on August 5 involved the army who shot at protesters at Jumna Park on 5th August 2024. Used helicopter to intimidate and deeply possibly unlawful, deployed possibly unlawful force, obstructed of medical care and denied necessary medical documentation, obstructed medical treatment of victim Sheikh Asabul Yamin, shot by police, was witnessed arbitrary arrest, detention without due process, and torture and ill treatment caused block raids and mass arrests, including injured persons. Students and opposition leaders attacked journalists, children, and women, and caused unjustified shutdown of Bhutan. The said report, Mr. Volker, the High Commissioner of Human Rights Office of the United Nations, observed that the atrocities committed in July Resolution 2024 in Bangladesh was concerted and systematic in order to remain in power. There are cogent grounds to believe that hundreds of extrajudicial killings, arrests, detention, and torture were carried out by the political leaders and the highest law enforcing authorities within their knowledge and under their direction and supervision as strategy to support the movement, whereby human rights have been seriously violated and that international crimes have been committed. He also observed that the evidences collected to depict a picture of widespread state atrocities and targeted killing. He further remarked that such atrocities ought to be brought under accountability. There are many other similar reports by the Global Institute International Truth and Justice Project, bloodshed in Bangladesh, World Report 2025 of Human Rights Watch. Then we are going to videos of the occurrence. It appears from the Caesar list contained in volume 4, caption, Caesar list and documentary evidence that a good number of videos of the alleged occurrences have been seized by the investigating officer, which are described below. Number 1. A video of 1 hour 23 minutes and 5 seconds showing a press conference dated 14 July 2024 of accused Sheikh Hasina after her return from China, in which she, in answer to a question of one journalist, angrily remarked, pointing towards the protesting students, মুক্তিযুদ্ধের বিরুদ্ধে আর মুক্তিযোদ্ধার বিরুদ্ধে মুক্তিযোদ্ধাদের নাতিপুতিরা চাকরি পাবে না তো কি রাজাকারের নাতিপুতিরা পাবে? Number 2. A video 35 seconds dated 15 July 2024 showing protest of the agitated students of Dhaka University at midnight against the remark of Sheikh Hasina made in the press conference dated 14 July 2024, pointing towards the protesting students. Number 3. A video showing the remark Rajakarde Jawab Dole Chhatruli. Number 4. A video of 1 minute 5 seconds which shows attack upon the students of Kota movement by Bangladesh Chhatruli leaders and activists on 15 July 2024 at night. A video which shows that Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was visiting damaged metro rail station on 26 July 2024 defended her previous comment in the press conference dated 14 July 2024. Number 6. A video showing Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in the course of her deliberation in a function of Mahila League held in July 2024 commented that the Kota movement was illogical and also commented Jamal Shihir Manshur Jan. Number 7. A video showing some words remark of Sheikh Hasina against the female students of Rohia Hall of Dhaka University meeting at her home on 15 July 2024. A video showing how Sheikh Hasina asked Delhi to attack Dhaka. A video shows the scenario of how protesting students was shot dead. This video was broadcast by YouTube channel named Narrative Bangladesh on 19 February 2025. A video which shows the scene of shooting a young person named Bengal by police in the July movement. This video was broadcast by YouTube channel named the National Truth and Justice Project on 15 January 2025. A video transferred evidence of a massacre Bangla, showing the scenarios of killing and torturing some participants of the movement. This video was broadcast by the National Truth and Justice Project YouTube channel on 14 January 2025. A video showing the scene of getting bullets striking young man named Nafi at Farm Gate of Dhaka. This video was broadcasted in Jamuna TV YouTube channel on 14 August 2024. A video showing how movement participant Upam Chandra Burman was injured with gunshot in his face. It appears that the whole face, including mouth, nose and eyes of Upam Chandra Burman have been completely disfigured. This victim imposed the tribunal as PW number 1. A video titled নির্মম 19 জুলাই শতাধিক লাশ হাজারো গুলিবিদ্ধ রক্তের জন্য হাহাকার TMC 19. A video titled Grab Helicopter Attack Kota Andolan 2024 showing operation from the protesters for Grab helicopters at different parts of Dhaka in July 2024. A video showing how protester Imam Hassan Taifmiya was shot dead at Rajawari, Dhaka. Both videos in a pen drive showing the asking of by Deputy Commissioner Habibur Rahman to the Salvadorian asking them to shoot the protesters below waist. A number of videos showing shooting upon the protesting people from helicopter. A video showing the scene of burning the dead bodies of protesting students and common people by police at Ashulia, Dhaka on 4 August 2025 during the July movement. A video showing the scene of Abu Said, a coordinator of July movement 2024, being shot multiple times by police at a close range with lethal weapon. A video showing the scene of a dead body of protester Asabul Yamin being thrown from APC armed personnel carrier by police. A video which showing the accused Home Minister Abdul Zaman Kamal defending the use of lethal weapons by police. Extent of cruelty. It transfers from the evidences that cruelty of the extreme level was administered upon the dead and injured protesters. Police and activists of Awami League, Dr. League and Tribal League blocked the entrance and exit of ambulances carrying the injuring protesters. Hospitals are asked not to give admission to the injured protesters. It appears from the testimony of PW2 that in some cases, patients are searched by police and ruling party activists. Doctors are intimidated and some of the doctors are transferred due to giving treatment to the protesting injured person. PW chief party deposed that she found an injured young man shouting, "Save me, save me," under the flyover. Blood was coming out from both of his eyes. Bobby pulled him up and put him on her shoulder and looking for a rickshaw. And then 14 to 15 armed police shot them. The injured man, being hit by bullets, fell down from her shoulder. They also shot PW for hit at her left eye, lower abdomen and other parts of the body. Blood was coming out of her body and thus she fell down. Coordinator of the movement, Abu Said of Buka University, Rampur, was shot at a hospital. Doctors are forced to change his blood post-mortem report 510. Graduate 9 Chikdar was shot at a close distance of 5 meters. He was hit by 500 bullets and 3 hospitals refused to admit him, surprising that Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina instructed to refuse admission to the protesting patients. PWA also said that Satru League activists were searching him and as such, he was hidden in separate room by the doctors. It is It is revealed from the evidence of PW9 Shahina Begum that police found the dead body of Hassan along with some other dead bodies in Apulia of Dhaka. PW10 MD Ena Nazir Zaki also stated that his son was killed and that his dead body was found by police in Ashulia. We find from the testimony of PW10, Asadul was shot dead and set ablaze. It appears from the testimony of PW13 Dr. Mohammad Mahmoud Rahman that most patients admitted to the hospital had no scars. The detective branch members had forbidden the doctors not to be serious in the treatment of the protesting patients and also that they had been instructed from the higher authorities not to release the Protestant patients admitted there. The patients were mostly aged 30 to 30 years. The DD also asked the doctors not to admit any more patients injured in the movement. This witness also said that in order to hide the injured patients from the sight of DD personnel, the doctors adopted some tactics like changing the names of the patients and the type of injury in the admission register and recording road accident or other reasons instead of bullet wounds. It appears from the evidence of PW15 Dr. Hassanul Khanna that police and our League activists prevented treatment of the Protestant patients, prohibited new admission of such patients